Good morning. Welcome back. All right. So things are playing out as expected with this correction that's been ongoing. The question is, there's always a question, right? Until we actually see the setup is, will it get out of hand? So far, it's been pretty choppy and relatively controlled. And if you remember last week, our discussion pre-market was a corrective price pattern that would result in something like this. Right, so this was the advance. Remember that nasty day, the bullish price action, some chop, and then the accelerated move, which did clear that high. And we talked about it forming a lower high and lower low into this area here. That's where it's at. Let's see. Not quite at 400 yet, but the way things are moving here this morning, that's likely where it's going to go. And that's a big number. I mean, there's a huge open interest on SPX at 4,000, which has been that way from the last option expiration. It's decreased a bit, but it's still pretty big. So it's a big number to act as support and resistance. We'll see how that open interest changes once prices get there. But what I mean by is it getting out of hand, that big open interest that's at that level. If it hangs there for a few days and starts to break, it could get an accelerated move lower. So we'll see how it plays out over the course of the week. There's more inflation data coming, of course. But that's a pattern that we'll be talking about this week to see if it unfolds. Right now, we've got the lower high, the lower low. It's coming into support. And then, of course, at any level of support, it's got to begin to stabilize. Choppy sideways, bottoming tail bars, breakdown failures, some kind of bullish price action at a support level. And then we'll see how the internals look when they're there. Breadth has been working its way lower. Sentiment isn't there yet. So some nastiness could get things lined up. Let's see how that nastiness unfolds. So factory work. So there are the futures. You can see it's working its way down. And what we want to see, right, is, so let me back up a second. On Friday, we talked about it coming down here, right? But we said, hey, here's this pivot low. Always looking to the left. Will the pivot low hold? And it held on Friday. It held in that area. Things came back up. Now it's heading back down. So it had its day there at the pivot, an attempt to chop around. And of course, it's the beginning of the day. Could this turn into a bottoming tail bar? Things stronger, of course, but we'll just have to see how this unfolds. And still in that area, starting off weak. The idea is that since it had the day there, it works its way down here over the next couple of days into the support area, the rising 50 MA, and we'll see where we go from there. So far, the weekly chart, no significant damage done. Whole bunch of rejections at that 4,200 area, and just been a slow grind to get down to these overlapping opens and closes here to see if they actually hold, where it can flip back up again or not. Correction just continues. SPX. Now here's a surprise with prices moving down, surprise to me anyway, that there was premium up here and at 41.45. I was like, this thing's down here. The average ranges or day-to-day average ranges have contracted a bit from here. So now they're around 50 points. And so a green bar up here with no significant news, I think it's a no-brainer, right? If it pops up here at the morning, 41.50 would be better. If there's 60 by 70 right now, which is it's an okay, but 45 is 75 by 85. But up here, I think that's a no-brainer. And down below, as I look, 39.75. which is below 4,000. So it's okay. Generally, it is still at support. And we're looking at the futures. It was around here. So to come all the way down here, I don't think so. I'd much prefer, well, 39.75. It is below the 50 MA. So Iron Condor seems like a reasonable idea here on SPX today. PMI could push it that high. Maybe, Alex. I don't, anything's possible, but just based on the day-to-day factory work routine thing that's been working, all along, to come from here to get up there, a bar of that size would be pretty damn big bar. Let's just see here. Let's just do this. We'll see what I'm doing in a second. Okay. Let's do this. Give or take. All right, I'm eyeballing at 50 points. And we're here. That would put it here. Okay. So to get up here, we'd need a 110-point day to get up there. I don't think so. And to get down here to the 50 MA is still out of the daily ranges. Not that it couldn't go down here. As we look at that bar, the size of that 70 points and compare it to, some big bars like that one, that's about 75 points. Right? That one is not. The big red one is. So the big nasty days have been about 75 points. 41.45. If it pops up in the morning, 41.50, being a 50 number, halfway, even better. But that's the idea. It's kind of like looking at eyeballing average true ranges. And if you look at the 3-day rolling average true range right now, it's 48 points. It ain't going there, right? So that's my thinking. Okay, so 62 points, 14 days, 62 points. I'm using something shorter to be closer to the day-to-day type of price action, but 14 days, 62 points, ain't even close to 100 points. And the outer edge of the bearish bar, it's close, but the 50 MA is there. So we've got pretty good, a whole number. We've got pretty good lines of defense on the downside and on the upside. Okay. So it gives us a bias, even if you're not trading them. Look, if you're looking at, those scenarios. Now, Jake's got 4110. Am I numbered? 4110, 4110, 4110, 4110. No. That's like $3, Jake. That's too close. All right. So part of what we've been doing here is, the theme of this holding, which took a while. Now it's up at resistance. And this is something that, buyers, the bullish side of thinking, could things turn around here? Could maybe not today. Maybe there's going to get some kind of a flush, right? We've been talking about, will this push up through 4%? Right now, it's right at the prior high. And I imagine bulls never thought it would even get there. But here it is, the depth of retracement. So odds are it's going to stall. So it could be some choppy stuff going on here. Well, that gets digested. The 10-year we looked at last week said that it was already at that pivot. Now, Now it's down a whole bunch, but we'll keep an eye if that keeps going. The dollar, we talked about that major support. It finally took hold and it's moving up. So dollar going up, interest rates going up. And what is, crude oil kind of in the middle of the range here. If this flips up from here, and we talked about this head and shoulders top, if this should flip up from here, and that 10-year goes up to 4% or better, and that dollar's going up, I think this market is going to have a little bit of a void kind of action below. I mean, it's going to drop. Well, you got to go wide. You got to go wider than 5 or 10, Andrew. So the idea behind these SPX credit spreads is not like doing a stock. The idea is we're getting so far away that you can go 20 wide, maybe a little more. And you know the implications of that. But with an individual stock, it's rare that you will ever be able to get far enough wide to make it potentially a no-brainer. So you got to go wider than 5 or 10. Well, not if you're going to do 5 wide. 41.45 is 70 by 80 right now. TC just zeroed them out. Zero. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. This is on one day. Well, no, that's right. What did I do here? Oh, my thing was sorted. I'm sorry. Let me read. It's zeroed out now. That was for tomorrow. So Jake's numbers are probably right. He's got 41.10. 41.10, which is within striking distance from here. If there was some bullish number, 39.80 is still below 4,000, and where the 50 MA is. So I had written down 39.75. I didn't resort that. All right, my mistake. So on the zero, 39.75. That will be the better one to do. All right. We don't want to go out till tomorrow, but I bet you that works. All right, let me continue here. And we don't get data on this, but the same lower high, lower low beginning to play out. And we're still holding up, and it is above that pivot. And we'll keep an eye on that, but this has got room. You see these bottoming tails here? And you can see the edge of this topping pattern on the hourly. This has room to drop. So we'll see if things, if bears want to step up here today. And this has the look of it, the same. Needs to go down there into that area, maybe even 12,000. And this giant mess is knocking on the door of breaking this big, nasty, whippy pattern here. So everything kind of hanging on support from Friday. We'll see how they want to give it another try here before things start to roll back over again. Oh, Bitcoin. Hanging up there at 25,000. Probably, as you can see, a good spot to stay away from for now and see what's going to happen. Set alerts and I could have reset this one. All right, that's it. Yours, Dan.
Good morning. Hope everyone enjoyed the extra day off. So yeah, we this pullback bias like we're talking about. So even though we rallied a little bit, Friday was a expiration day, and so I wasn't reading into that except saying we're range bound. But when we did our weekend scanning, I found so many more bullish setups than bearish ones. So we'll just play got a ton of long ideas. It was harder finding new put spread ideas just because of the monthly expiration and same problem with liquidity all the time. But we'll trade anything. I have a ton of alarms, and only my military stocks up alarms are going off. Everything else is not, which is fine. So look at RTX here. Military gapping up. Gulf Delta is bottoming pattern. Looks like it could chug its way up to 245. LMT, a little buy setup here. We're going to do a put spread on this, gapping up. So military looks good. Patrick, just yeah, a little bottoming pattern there with a new low failure and a void. Sure. Yeah, that's the sector also. Protection, or not protection, defensive sector. And we were also watching Clorox, CPB, all these look great. Like I said, my alarms haven't gone off. But yeah, we only did one earnings trade. Walmart was shorted the 138s way down here, and it does have a bearish gap down. But it's still range bound, and our short strike is $5 away. So with 99% certainty, we're going to have an open game when the options open up. On tap here, I had was an earnings trade. It's gapping up, so I like this 30-minute high. Making a nice turn here at the 20 and the 50 with a price void target. See if it's gapping up here to 53.50. That's my target, so that's going to mess it up. I needed to gap just over Friday's high and then chop around for 30 minutes. Home Depot, another big one on earnings here, getting whacked. I was looking at a condor on this, the 280 and 350, but I decided not to because, and the reason was I said exactly this: if it gaps under all of this horizontal support, then it has a void down to 290. So if this can't bounce much, I have that as a call spread idea. These are all earnings here. I don't see any gaps, so we got to come back to them. Elon, it's another buy setup at the 50. I'm going to set an alarm at 1340. If it can now ignore this gap and take out Friday's high, then I like it. Setting an alarm, no harm, and then we'll come back later and clean up my watch list. HRMY gap 5180. So that's a no-brainer put spread. Multi-week consolidation, all that is support. So if anyone wants to help me on put spread ideas, watch that one 5 minutes after it opens. HUN, I see it gapping down. I don't know. I'd rather the buy setup, but it could be a day trade short. Mid, prints. Tap, I just showed you. I like that one long. No prints. This is a head and shoulders. I see one print here at 91. So that, and it has a big void. So that's a 30-minute low watch. I had an alarm go off on Tapestry, TPR. I was gonna put this in the letter as a short, and the only thing that concerned me was that this is a Bull Island reversal. So if this one bar was not here, then it's a no-brainer short. Friday's low, target 50 MA. But let's still watch it for a day trade short. CEQP gapping down. This had earnings, but I would have put this in the weekend letter as a sell setup if it didn't have earnings today. But the gap's too big now. I have AD&T. No, that's not it. I forget. We had a short that had earnings yesterday. That is what it was reported. But the alarm didn't go off. AIG is a short idea. That looks good. Oh, Jose, sorry, I just got your list here. WMT. All right, Jose has a big list for me. Let me just type them there. Go through them real quick for Jose. WMT is not a symbol. The way there's a number of 1, 2, 3s. That is a beautiful 15-minute. Wow, a day and a half long 15-minute chart. It's far from the 20, which is not ideal, but as long as it holds this 15-minute chart, it looks great. Towels, too far from the 20. So that we like them from consolidations, PNR. I got an alarm going off. So this looks really good. I'm going to put this in a window. SYNH sounds familiar. Yeah, that's a better 1, 2, 3 because it's from consolidation after a breakdown failure. So yes, I like that one. Sage, still range bound, nothing to do. Although look at the monthly, looks good. Hey, this looks like a core long. Daily, weekly, monthly. So yeah, I like this one a lot. I'll put that over here. ILPT. Put it on the other computer too. Yeah, that looks great. In EBS. Yeah, that's a 180 breakout. We like that too. Slob. Yeah, the entry was, I mean, you're just getting on board a moving train, but yeah, I told Greg I wish we were more aggressive on oil shorts on Friday morning. Yeah, I like the 15-minute on Square, the way it's stair stepping down. So yes, that could fall all the way to $70, I think. So that one looks good. Jose's asking about Walmart. You got to be more specific on your question because I have no idea what you were thinking. It's a bearish gap. We actually have naked 138 puts as an earnings trade. ASO alarm. Why? Oh, we're already in this, so it's just one of my trail alarms. This was a buy setup. We're just trailing that. All right, let me continue. Where did I leave off? What earnings trades up here? DIN. See, so that's also a 1, 2, 3, but I don't like 1, 2, 3s that are up multiple bars. That's the greater than 100% retracement, but the weekly, monthly are in alignment. So this is worth watching to see how it consolidates in the next couple of days. Put it on my thing. Elon. Oh, I already set an alarm on that. PNR, yep, the alarm went off. Looks good. EXPD. It's gapping down, and it has a void, so it could be a day trade short or a call spread for Friday if there's weeklies. Man. Come on, trade station. All right, let me switch to this other. Let me switch to this one. This is TC 2000. It's not as much of a resource hog. I just had an alarm on Campbell's. Well, yeah, thanks to my internet